Well, that was a great go-home show, bro, for Fall Brawl 2000, bro. Wait, what do you mean we still have one more week left of television? Bro, I can figure out a calendar, bro. Bro, we need more swerves, bro, and cue the bro, and cue weddings, and cue a whole bunch of bullshit, bro. Vince Russo, presumably. I'm John Redland with a retro review of WCW Thunder from September 6, 2000. Yeah, this was not the go-home show for Fall Brawl, even though it probably should have been. I'm not saying that WCW was salvageable by this point or even really palatable. In fact, quite frankly, even a halfway decent episode like this still wasn't really good. WCW is so goddamn lifeless, and it was really goddamn sad to see. And there was one good segment between Bret Hart and Goldberg, but really a lot of the show was just kind of there. They were working with a smaller crew because they kept having, people either work twice or run out and do all this. And we got to see footage of the power plant. So yeah, compared to other Thunder episodes, at least this one went by kind of painlessly. So M.I. Smooth, the former Ice Train, brings the Natural Born Thrillers to the power plant, and then we have Kiwi with Paisley versus Chavo Guerrero, aka Lieutenant Loco, MIA, one of the worst stables ever in wrestling. It's the number one contenders match for Elix Skipper's Cruiserweight Championship, or the or 100 kilograms and under championship, whatever, metric system. We're Americans, we don't worry about the metric system because we're kind of stupid. We are kind of stupid, creating our own shit. Moving on. Skipper and Major Guns joined commentary. Don't know whose idea it was to put Major Guns on commentary. Whatever. She meant well, I'm sure, but she just shouldn't have really been able to talk because she didn't really seem like she wanted to be there. And Elix Skipper, of course, sounded like a 10-year-old child. Now, Elix Skipper, a vastly underrated wrestler, but honestly should have never been heard. He just didn't sound fearsome once he opened his mouth. The talent is fucking the ring. Kiwi snaps 1 point Paisley, knocks Chavo down, crotches him on the ropes, and then we get DDT off the ropes. Kiwi will face Elix Skipper at Fall Brawl. Fall Brawl, bro. Anyway, then Paisley, Major Guns, and Tigers have a brief brawl, and God, MIA shows up, and then we have Bret and Goldberg showing up in their respective vehicles. And, after War Games 2000 when Goldberg almost won, and then, Bret kicked the cage door in, kicked it right into Goldberg's head. It feels like War Games 2000 was about 5 weeks ago. And it's funny because I'm reviewing this stuff when I can, and it was only 2 days before. But my God, just so much of WCW programming by this point just was taking place in a fucking vacuum. And then we get footage of Bret and Goldberg from Starrcade 99, where Goldberg inadvertently injured Bret. He didn't mean to, he inadvertently injured him. And then the Natural Born Thrillers are in the power plant. They let Mike Graham give them his best shot, and then, like father, like son, in other words, and then Orndorff, threw a phone at them when they confronted him. Then they beat him up and beat the janitor up, and then there was some guy with a stick. I didn't actually catch the guy's name. Had an impressive physique, but that was about it. Then plug for the David Flair, Miss Hancock wedding. And then Mike Tenay has an interview with him, once again making Mike Tenay incredibly sexist and just knocking Miss Hancock, calling her a gold digger. If that song popped in your head, please don't put it in the comments. So, yeah, this wasn't necessarily, great because we all know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, and I'm not looking forward to reviewing it, but I will continue to review it because I only have about 6.5 more months of this shit. And only about 2 more months of Vince Russo, well, about a month and a half, and only about, 3 more months of Madden on commentary before we get to good commentary with Shivani and Hudson. So, yeah, it was really bad, and Mike Tenay closes by saying, I give them 6 months, if that. Boy, that's really good. Really good for Mike Tenay. Such a happy guy, Mike Tenay. Then again, having to work in WCW at this point, besides the money, what else would you be happy about? So we get 3 Count versus Chronic. And 3 Count calls out, Chronic shows up, and then Stevie Ray says he just got through on the outside. Stevie Ray's a really good, really good podcaster. I actually really enjoy his stuff. At least he brought some energy to commentary, but it was what it was. It was a mugging, then the Nazi Harris brothers show up. They have Nazi tattoos, by the way, so or at least one each, so I make no apologies for saying that. And then they brawl with Chronic, who's in the match, but there's no DQ called, and 3 Count wins by countout. By a 3 countout, if you will. And then Tank comes down and knocks them each out with 1 punch. Crowbar then talks about Shane, who threw him off a balcony through a table. Sort of. Looked like Crowbar really hurt himself because that was badly timed. They should have put 3 tables out there just in case there was any overstep. So, yeah, we get the Lava Lamp Lounge. I love Lava Lamp. And with Mike Awesome as that 70s guy, why'd they hate Mike Awesome at this point? Why? Fucking hell. And then we, Pamela Paulshock, the busty blonde announcer that they had. And I mean, I hate to say it like that because I'm sure she was a nice woman, but that's how they featured her. They featured her bouncing around doing interviews. It just, I mean, at that point, that's how they were using their women in WCW. Cheesy pickup lines. Jarrett shows up. Are you stuck in the 70s? Knowing that he's that 70s guy. Jeff Jarrett, stater of the obvious. Mean Gene and Pamela try to stop the guitar shot, but it doesn't work guitar shot to Mike Awesome because they're having a bunkhouse brawl at Fall Brawl, which is still 11 days away, yet they're kind of climaxing everything at this point. Have fun on seeing that. Shane Douglas with Tori versus Crowbar. It wasn't good. Crowbar was favoring his ribs, and I like Crowbar. Douglas was wiped out by this point. Crowbar gets laid out on the steps. He chokes out Douglas at one point with a bit of a belt, and then Tori stops the 3 count, and then the franchiser for a 3. Then Daphne attacks and brawls with Tori briefly. And then Daphne's boyfriend shows up, Ozzy, I think is what they said his name was, and then Medusa's here for some reason and attacks Shane Douglas. That was one of Medusa's last appearances, I believe. Or was she with the company still until they went out of business? I have no idea, honestly. I thought she was gone by this point. And then Goldberg lays out the security looking for Brett, but Brett's not in his locker room because he is coming to the ring. Goldberg apparently does not have, the ability to see things around him. He's not aware of his surroundings, basically, is what I'm saying. Brett comes out. What the hell happened to wrestling? I have been asking that for the last 20 years. There's good things in modern wrestling, but just Brett actually summarizing the feelings of a lot of people right now. And then, hey, Mike Awesome, you're worth half as much as you were 15 minutes ago. He got up some really good lines here. Said Russo gave him his title shots. He finally got some shots with him, even though Brett really doesn't care for Russo. Says Goldberg cost him millions, couldn't buy a ranch. He gets fired up. He says he's had 10% permanent brain loss. Goldberg shows up. I even wish it were me. You better get out of here before I do something I will regret again. Brett, shouts at him some more before this. Pretty good stuff. This is actually the highlight of the goddamn show. And then, oh god, Brett says, I'll sue you if you touch me. And then Scott Steiner shows up. Hart laid a trap. And then, Scott Steiner says, I'm going to finish your ass at Fall Brawl. Whatever helps you, Scott. Whatever you get off with is your choice. So then Nazi Harris Brother versus Ray and Hoovy, WCW Tag Team Championships, and Conan and Disco on commentary. Disco ruining it. At one point, Stevie, gave some love. Oh yeah, Conan, give me some love. And then Disco's like, oh, give me some love. He's like, man, get the hell away from me. Everybody hates Disco, which is fair. And then Tigress and Ray tag team the Harris brother with Bronco Buffers. Michael Buffer doing a Bronco Buster. Yeah, I would have paid to see that. And Chronic Attack, still no DQ. Ray covers for 3. I mean, why not? Why not just get rid of the no DQ rule? Or get rid of the DQ rule. And then we get War Games 2000 recaps. We get Booker agreed by friends and family afterwards. Some good stuff here. Vampiro with ICP versus Sting, no DQ match. ICP joins commentary, thus ruining it. All they do is mock it. It's one thing for a fan like myself to make jokes about it, but these were guys that claim to actually be in wrestling and they were involved in a multi-million-dollar wrestling company, even briefly. It just didn't help. The whole Juggalo Championship Wrestling thing never did anything for me, though they have their fans and they did a lot of good stuff with their money for charity, and that's good for them. So they attack Sting. It was abhorrent. Shivani then, gets away from commentary because Vampiro gets sent over the announcer's table. Scorpion Death Drop for 3. ICP attacks. Muda shows up. He ends up maybe accidentally missing Violent J, the bigger one of ICP. And Sting and Muda brawl, despite the fact Muda was probably trying to miss the ICP because he was going to be done with them soon. And then Goldberg's here. The clowns are down, which was actually a funny line by Shivani. And then he calls out Brett again, but Team Canada shows up, a.k.a. Skipper and Storm. They have a 90-second handicap match, and that's really all I got to say about that. And that's it right there. That's the end of Thunder. It's not the go-home show for Fall Brawl. I get to deal with the wedding on Nitro coming up. Oh, dear. Fucking hell. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.